everybody, welcome back to the Dice Tower. My name is Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
Today we are taking a look at Age of Wonders Planetfall, a card game based on a video game, a computer game, sort of a Civ style game. This one is really a pretty straightforward little card game. It's got some drafting in it, you managing a few different sliders, your strength, your experience, your energy, trying to complete a few different objectives, ultimately come out ahead with the most victory points. Let's go ahead and take a look at it, and we'll come on back, tell you what we think of it. To set up the game, we're going to shuffle up all 7 decks here. This is going to be the decks we're going to be going through every round in the game, 7 rounds in the game. This board over here, we're going to pick one of these goal sheets and set it into play. There are quite a few of them, and they have various goals that the players can attempt to achieve for victory points. So we've got one set up there randomly, and then every player is going to select a character board. These are going to be double-sided with different abilities on both sides, and you can pick whichever one you want. They will have 3 tracks down here, the experience track, the strength track, and the energy track. And they have one highlighted spot on each of those. So for example, let's say I'm going to go with this faction here. I will find the corresponding ship, which is right there. I'm going to be using that. And then I also get some cubes of my color, one of which goes right here for the victory points, and the other 3 go on the starting locations for these 3 things, the highlighted spots. So experience, then strength begins right here, and energy begins right there. I'm going to be moving this off of the board so I can show you what's going on, but I'll bring it back in and reference these as necessary so you understand the flow of the game, because I'm going to have to lay out some cards in this space. So here we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at what round 1 would look like. Each of the 7 rounds consists of 5 phases. We're going to take a look at them right here. So we've got discovery phase, income, exploration part 1 and part 2, and then migration, all right? So the first one, discovery, is putting out new cards out here. So we're going to grab the next deck available, again, 7 rounds. We're going to shuffle this up and put out a number of cards in each of these rows as based on the player count. So we're playing with 3 set up right here. So we're going to put 4 cards up here, then 3, then 2, all right? And I'm going to scoot this over to the side because I'm going to need to reference this right here in just 1 second. So 4 cards up at the top, then 3 in the middle, and then 2 at the bottom. Like so, and then these 2 down here. Now the cards come in different types. We've got over here unit cards, which are these that we will combat with normally, and then acquire them and take special benefits. So we might get more, we get victory points for doing that. You might get experience. You might get energy here in the middle, okay? Then we've got technology cards. These are going to be ongoing special abilities that you have in the game. Landmark cards are set collecting cards, usually for victory points. They also might give you experience, which I'll come back to what that does. And then pickup cards just give you something generally. Like this one over here, you take that and you gain 1 experience. If you do this one, you might get something right now, or you can turn it upside down and get recurring income, which is step 2, as I explained, discovery, then income. That's where you would get income from. You'd cover this up and get recurring income in energy. So, having done the discovery and then income, now we do exploration, which happens twice. Exploration part 1 and part 2. From the top over here, the players are going to select their token and then pick one of these cards they want to go to. They can also go to the operations over here. And this is going to be level 1, level 2, and level 3. Based on what you pick and where it is, you're going to take a look at the corresponding level of that card. So, for example, let's say I take this card right here. Then this player will take this one, and this player maybe goes here. We're now going to go through the first line, level 1, from left to right, activating the first one that somebody selected. So this player will, this is at level 1, so they're going to need 2 experience to combat this, and it's going to cost them 3 of the strength. And we'll bring this back on so you see what I'm talking about. Now, if you do not have the experience, you need to make up the difference with more strength, all right? And then once you claim that, you're going to get the victory points, the energy there, and then the experience, which will tick up. You'll never spend experience. And it's just sort of a threshold that ideally is high enough that you don't have to pay even more strength than it would normally cost you. So this player pays what they need to. They come back on the first spot and they take this card. We keep going. It's now this player. It's at level 1, so I'm going to get 3 energy from that, plus I get to level up my experience, and I come back. And then we go through the second line, and this is it, and then there's no one down here. Now, these 3 behave generally the same way. You are going to get a certain number of these operation points, and you can spend them for various things. The first thing you can spend them for is straight up victory points. You can buy victory points, but you can only buy up to the current planet number. So right now, only 1. I could spend 1 of these 6 for 1 victory point. If it was the 5th round, I could spend 5 out of the 6 for 5 victory points. And then the other conversions I can make are I can buy experience or I can buy firepower, strength, all right? And once that's done, then I'm done, and that goes there. And then we do it again for the second time through exploration, with this player maybe selecting this. This player maybe wants that one, and over here. Boom, like that. Or, let's give him that. And same deal. I check the level. It's level 1 over here. So it's -2 energy. I'm going to get these things down here. This symbol over here denotes that if I have 2 of these cards with that same symbol, I'm going to get some bonus victory points. So this comes off. I go back on here. This player will do their thing. They can choose to take the energy right now, or again, it becomes an income card. And they go back over here. And then this player can combat this, get some victory points, get some energy, and it comes back over there. And then we do the cleanup, which is the final step in which we clean all this up. Anything left over goes away. And we go to the next round. Shuffle this up, put out new cards, make income. If you have any recurring income, you would do that. And then we twice again select these things. Besides getting victory points throughout the game for various things, buying them, collecting them from cards, you also have this over here, which is going to give you victory points. And we continue this way through all 7 planets. At the end of that last round, the game is going to be over, and we figure out who's got the most victory points. That player, of course, will be the winner of the game. So this one caught my eye when it first came through the office. I was vaguely aware it was based on a video game. I hadn't played that. None of us have played that. But the thing that really took me aback was how simple the gameplay is. From what I understand, the video game has some depth to it. And this, while I'm not saying it's shallow, it's incredibly easy to play. It's very straightforward, easy to play. We first played it with Joey, and it just sort of got to a moment where we were like, oh, I guess that's it. And let's just start playing. Understand it the first time out. You can start strategizing right from your very first play, and that was very refreshing to me.
I think refreshing is a good word for it. In fact, I remember my first play was after a long day of work, and it was very refreshing how simple and quick you could get in to start strategizing. So I was a little bit nervous of those subsequent plays, them not having that same feeling. But I was pleasantly surprised again that it did feel like that, even if I am looking for a bigger game or like a weeknight game or something like that. It still filled that niche without feeling too simple.
Yeah, I agree. The game has enough in it, just enough, to feel fulfilling, to give you things to think about, and nothing else. There's not an ounce of fat on this game.
Right.
That's the thing. It's like I'm tracking my experience, which never backs off, energy and strength. I'm using that to take places with energy, to make energy, attack places with strength, and that experience is a buffer. Like, that's it. There is nothing here that... Oh, and there's one more thing you need to worry about when you do this. Don't forget that this other thing. No, it's clean. It's very straightforward. 7 planets or whatever feels right. Mm-hmm. It's a really good length. It just comes together well. It's not one I'm gonna be bringing to the table over and over and over and over, because it does kind of play the same way each time. You can push it this way a little bit. I'm gonna focus on my faction is a little better at like attacking the baddies or what are the aliens. So I'm pushing that way a little bit. Oh, I really want to focus on getting those blue settlements or whatever. I'm going to push a little bit this way. But it does feel a little samey from session to session. What the reason that doesn't matter too much is because there are enough things to think about, and you're not going to see every card. It's based on the player count. You're not going to see every card come out. So you can't count on something showing up in the sixth round or seventh round if you don't know it's going to be there. You have to be like, oh, okay, maybe I won't get that one. It might not be in the flop. It just might not show up. So, yeah, it's a good feeling game. It's one that, again, kind of bounces along at a nice rhythm.
Yeah, you mentioned two things there, which are probably my two favorite things about the game, is the asymmetry in the players. Mm-hmm. But I find that asymmetry is not so high that it complicates the game.
Yeah.
It really is a little flavor or a little nudge in a direction more than it is like strategy setting.
Yeah.
And I think they really nailed that good balance. The other thing I like is the tension that this game brings throughout. Mm-hmm. There's a couple different places that comes from. I feel like it comes from the player interaction where you're hoping that you get that card and you're really trying to balance when are you going to, there's the two cards out there that you want and you hope to get them both. Which one do you prioritize first? Right. And the other tension comes from the deck each deck that not all the cards are going to come out. Yeah. So you hope that pair comes out, or you hope that one pickup card comes out so you can get that innate resource generation each round, something like that. And so those two things really bring a lot of balance to the play and tension, refreshing as well.
Yeah, my favorite part is the three-tiered thing. That's my favorite part of this game. And it's sort of, we've seen it probably most famously in King Domino. King Domino has this idea of you can draft a worse tile, but then you're earlier in turn order next round. That's right. The idea. And this game, it's really interesting. It self-balances. Like every card in this game has all three levels printed on it. Like King Domino, they number the tiles in order. Mm-hmm, right. They're like, okay, well, this one's better. It's the 28. It's better than the 5. Right. Like, we know that. In this one, all the cards are in the same deck. You shuffle them up and you lay them out. But every card has then 3 levels. And if it's in the top, you go earlier, that card is more expensive.
Yes.
If it's in the bottom, then something drops. It takes less energy to buy that card, less strength to take over those aliens. That's great. It's so interesting. You can go later also along the side over here and get more of those trading points. I love that. That's my favorite mechanism. This idea of, I really want that one down here, but then I'm second next round. And it's the same. If it's the first time through this planet, it's the same cards. I don't even get to see new cards. I know what I want next. I know what my second pick would be. But as the third or fourth player, am I going to get it? I really like that. That's my favorite part.
It kind of self-balances in that way, right? Like as it goes from gameplay to gameplay. I like it.
Yeah, I really like that. Now, one thing I should mention, and again, I'm sort of extrapolating here, but I do wonder if people who enjoy this video game and discover the board game or see it online, so when they go, ooh, they made a game out of Age of Wonders Planetfall, if they're not going to be disappointed by how very straightforward and light this is, because from what I understand, it's a very in-depth game. So be aware of that, just, putting that out there. If you are someone who's played the video game, this is light. And if you're someone who hasn't played the video game and that's keeping you out of this one also, you're like, oh, I don't know what Age of Wonders Planetfall is. I haven't played that video game. Super doesn't matter.
It does not.
Do not worry about it. You're going to have a good time with this one without any prior knowledge at all. Yeah. So there you go. For me, I'm coming in at an 8 for this one. I really like it. I think it's a well-put-together game. It's a really great return rate on the rules investment and the time investment.
Yes, I agree.
I feel really good after playing this one. I'm like, man, that was quick. 25 minutes. I strategized. I put together little combos. I sniped that one card right before you might have taken it. And, check your score. Scoring's easy in this game. I really like it. So, yeah, it gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Again, with the caveat of, yes, I could see it being a little repetitive, and you're kind of doing the same things from session to session.
Yeah, I'm coming in at an 8 as well. Right there with it. I'm very much enjoying my plays of this game. It's one of those that after the play, it plays very quick. Maybe if everyone knows how to play, low player count, you're looking at 20 minutes, up to 30 with more players or something like that. So it's really quick and it's really fulfilling. At the end of it, I don't go, ooh, let's play again though. So it's a great filler that has some tension that sets the game night, or again, like I said, a weeknight game where you're just tired and want something quick and punchy to the table that brings some good play experience with it, but then you move on pretty quickly after it. It's definitely one that I'll reach for in those situations. Quite often, I think.
Right.
But again, not going to be one that I want to play 2 or 3 times in a row, and maybe not even every week.
And the theme is also going to keep it possibly off your table because it is kind of geeky, very specific. This is the kind of game you could play with your aunt, but she probably isn't going to be like, oh yeah, Age of Wonders Planetfall. What could that be? Where she might go for like, we're running a garden.
Right, yes.
You know what I mean? That's another thing to consider the theme here. But again, I like it. You like it as well. That gets a seal of approval from us. Age of Wonders Planetfall is a great little card game. We certainly recommend it. And that's going to do it for us, everybody. My name is Zee Garcia.
And I'm Camilla.
Have fun taking over the galaxy.